And we are back. Hopefully you don't have a headache after trying that homework. There was a lot of information. But the first two are going to be draw an angle with the given angle measure. So negative 480 degrees. Remember, the negative means to go clockwise, okay? So we always start in the east. And negative 480. Now if I go all the way around the circle once, that's negative 360. And then I will have an extra 120 left over. So there's 90. And maybe about right there. So somewhere in there should be your negative 480. Another way to approach this, if you didn't like drawing like that, you could do that coterminal trick where you add 360 to it, and then that helps sort of narrow it down again. If you want to add 360 again, then that would give you, what does that give you? 240? And then 240 might be easier because you could have just started here and gone, oh, 240, it's right there. So either way you want to do it is fine, okay? Number two, negative 85. So this one's pretty easy. It's got the negative, but 85 is a manageable number, and it's almost to 90. So it would be somewhere like right there, okay? Number three, state the quadrant in which the terminal side of the angle lies. Okay, if you're confused by the directions, the terminal side, I think I mentioned in the notes video, it's just where the angle stops. And the word terminal, terminate, end, stop, hopefully you kind of made that link and connection in your head. But what we want to know is, where is this angle basically? So we know it starts in the east, negative 420. So if I go negative, which is clockwise, so negative 360 plus an extra, let's see, 360 to 420. How far away is that? 60? So another negative 60. So I'm going to end about right there. So the answer would have been quadrant 4 for this one. Number 3, I'm a liar. Number 4, it says 4 pi over 3, okay? Now, if you did not know where 4 pi over 3 was going to end up, you have a couple of options. You could have typed it in as a decimal and then looked at your notes, or you could have converted it to degrees. And if you want to convert it to degrees, a lot of times that helps with, what's 60 times 4? 60 times... Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. That's a pi. 3 times, is that 60? How many times does 3 go into 180? Yeah, that's 60. 60 times 4 would be 240. So sometimes it's easier to convert into degrees by doing that trick I showed you, because now 240 is easy. If you know that's 270 and you know that's 180, you know it's somewhere in here. So quadrant 3. Now, I'm going to be a little bit faster than y'all at some of these, but that's okay. You should have tried them, and then you're just checking yourself. Number 5, find a positive and negative coterminal angle. So what that wants us to do is to both add and subtract 360 to our degree that they gave us and get our answers that way. And I'm going to, oh man, my calculator went away. Oh well, I'm not going to do it with a calculator. Okay, that's a 4. That's a 9. Is that 490? 3, 9. Yes, 494. Okay. And if I subtract these two, sorry, I don't have my calculator. What is that? 7. Help me out here. 4, 7. That's a 0. Why can't I do this? 274 negative something. Hold on, I feel really stupid right now. I can't subtract that. Let me go this way. That would be a 6, 2, negative 120. Okay, I don't know what I was doing here. That's embarrassing. Okay. We're going to go the other way, so it should have been a negative 126. Or should that be a 2? Negative 226. Oh my gosh, that's so bad. Okay, sorry about that. Number 6. Let's move on, for the love of God. Grab a calculator if you get stuck. I really wish I had my calculator right now. Okay, negative 592. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to add 360. And we're going to subtract 360. So I'm going to do this one because it'll be the easier one. That'll be a negative 952 degrees. When we add them, then that's going to be 460, 560. That's going to be, oh, this is a tricky one because when you add these together, hold on, let me figure out what it is. 460, 560 with an extra 32. Whenever you add these together, you still have a negative, okay? So this wanted a positive answer and a negative answer, so see how both of ours are negative? You're supposed to add 360 again so that you can pop yourself into positive land. And so whenever you do that, you will get 232. It will be an 8, and that's a 2, 128. So positive 128 degrees could be the answer, and then either one of these would work as your second answer. Kind of tricky. Don't know if y'all realized that or got that. The next one is negative 25 pi over 12. We're going to add and subtract 2 pi. Now remember to get a common denominator, so I'm going to stick that over 1, make that a 12, which makes this a 24. And when I add them together, I get a negative pi over 12, and when I subtract them, I get an even bigger number. So this is another one kind of like the one above, where if I want a positive answer, I better add this on again. I better add 2 pi again, which means I'm adding 24 pi over 12 again, and then I'll get this. So this would be my answer for my negative. That would be my answer for my positive. Number 8, negative 35 pi over 18. We're going to add and subtract 2 pi. If I get a common denominator, let's see, 2 pi over 1. So what's 2 times 18? 36 pi? Okay, cool. So now when I add them, I get a positive pi over 18, which is good. I don't have to add on anything weird again. If I subtract them, I get a negative big number. That would be a 71. Negative 71 pi over 18. Gross. Okay, those are my two answers by doing just good old-fashioned plus or minus. Okay, number 9 wants you to convert. Convert the degrees into radians, or vice versa. Well, if they've given me this, it's definitely a radian. So if I want degrees, degrees goes on top. Cancel, cancel. Negative 180 over 6 is just negative 30 degrees. Number 10, if they give me negative 120 to start off with, they're giving me a degree, which means I want to change it to radians. So if I want radians, the pi is on top, and then I just simplify that. So those zeros are gone. I'm going to get, what goes into 12 and 18? 6, negative 2 pi over 3. So that should be your answer on 10. Number 11, find the value of the trig function indicated. Okay, it wants you to find sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and if you look at the picture, the opposite is 3. The hypotenuse is not there, but you could totally find it because it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Number 12, gross. Okay, I think if you do the Pythagorean theorem, the third side of that triangle is going to be a 7. And so if it wants the cotangent, cotangent's the reciprocal of tangent. So if tangent is opposite over adjacent, then this is A over O. So the adjacent one on the picture is 24, and the opposite one should be a 7. So that should be your answer for that. Number 13, it wants you to find secant. It's telling you that the sine is root 3 over 2. So I'm going to draw my own picture. I'm going to stick the square root of 3. So sine is what? O over H? Okay. So the opposite is here, the hypotenuse is here, and I need to find that. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a squared equals, let's see, what is that? 3, 1. So this is a 1. Okay? So I find all the sides of my triangle. Now what does it even want? It wants the secant. So if it wants secant, secant is the reciprocal of cosine. And cosine is SOHCA A over H. So this is H over A. And if that's the case, it's going to be 2 over 1. Yep, so 2. I'm getting 2 for number 13. Hopefully you guys got that. Number 14, it still wants secant, so in the end, I need the ha, okay? But it's giving me that the cosecant, now what is cosecant? Cosecant should be H over O. I won't say that one out loud. Ha ha ha, okay? So cosecant is root 5. Now if it just gives me a whole number, that can be your numerator, and you can just stick a 1 on the bottom. Perfectly okay. So let's take what they give me. Let me sketch my picture. Okay. So this is the hypotenuse, is the square root of 5, and the opposite is 1. So that needs to be my picture. I'm going to solve this out. So 1 squared plus b squared equals 5. So I'm getting a 2. Anybody else getting 2? That looks like that would work. So I need h over a. And the h is the square root of 5. The adjacent is 2. So that would be my answer there. Okay, lots of fun. If you used a calculator, awesome. You probably got them faster than me. If you did not use a calculator, we may want to start on problems like that because that was just a pain in the butt. Hopefully it went okay. We'll do lots more practice in tutoring.